Another thing turns me off, and you and I have talked about this ad nauseum on this particular show. But man, what have I been saying? I'm going to say it one more time. But what have I been saying when we talk about this? A snake will always be a snake. A snake will always bite you, and it has bitten Brendan Sorsby and Texas Tech this week.
Yeah.
Of course, nobody really knows how much money Tech promised this kid to transfer from Cincinnati. You hear it's at least $5 million. I would tend to think it's maybe probably a tick above that. But of course, Brendan Sorsby, their new quarterback, who has not taken a snap yet at Tech, it comes out this week. He's actually entered a gambling addiction rehab center. Didn't even know those existed, to be honest. And he's got a gambling problem. The numbers are mind-boggling when you look at what the activity of this one individual, what he's done over the last few years, beginning with his redshirt season at Indiana. Actually, and he's admitted to this, he has actually admitted to betting on Indiana games as a redshirt, which is causing all kinds of trouble. Now, there's some ambiguity when you read the NCAA guidelines against gambling, and it's confusing to read. But the thing is, here's what I'm going to say is going to happen here, and then we can talk more about this if you want in a couple of different angles. But he is going to be declared ineligible. And I think at that point, he becomes eligible to enter the NFL supplemental draft, and his career will go on. He's definitely an NFL prospect. He will get a shot. And then I'm going to be interested to see how the NFL handles that, because of they're in bed with the gambling industry as much as any pro league is now.
Sure.
But I do know that this has a little bit of personal tie to you because of your connection to Texas Tech through your wife. How's it feeling to be a Texas Tech fan when all of this breaks?
I mean, yeah, it was a bummer. He hadn't played a snap for Tech, so I don't know how invested everybody was. I mean, he was kind of one of the 3 or 4 darlings of the transfer portal. There's no question about that. And now, boy, I think a more interesting discussion is, what is Tech going to do now? And are they going to find a loophole? Are they going to pay some kid, pay off his NIL fee to leave the place he's at and have him walk on at Tech, and they'll pay him, there's a lot of sort of nuanced what's going to happen now kind of stuff. I don't know. I'm curious to see. I mean, look, none of it shocked me. I don't know what the repercussions and what it's going to be like. I'm just, to me, I'm sad less because of Tech and more just because this is the reality of it. And it's the reality you and I have talked about this is not, let's please not, above all else, let's not think Brendan Sorsby's the only one out here doing this. He's just the most recognizable and highly paid person. And so it makes more sense to make a bigger issue about this.
Well, here's the hypocritical part of this. The organization that's coming down on this kid silently promotes this kind of stuff because, and we've talked about how all the major sports leagues and really even the NCAA are involved with the gambling industry.
Right.
Like it's nothing. I mean, it's promoted.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, it's encouraged. And I mean, we've got literal pro franchises who are, setting up shop in Las Vegas. Every major league now has one. And it is promoted. They have gotten in bed with these gambling industry folks and types, for money. And so that is a very hypocritical stance. And I think we've talked about this as well. You know, we're going to allow this, but don't get caught up in it if you're an athlete. Well, how can you not? I mean, you're surrounded by it 24/7.
Seriously.
It is a highly addictive activity. We've talked about that as well. So, you know, I'm sad for Brendan Sorsby. I'm not gonna shed any tears for Tech on this because by all indications they had an idea that this was possible as far as this kid having this issue. But you mentioned it in terms of them preparing to play football in the fall, and I know they have some high aspirations out there again this year. The new calendar of the football season is doing them no favors now. There is no portal period for them to go in and grab somebody to come in and play quarterback. I'm assuming this was a joke meme because it was put out by an Oklahoma State fan, but on X, talking about how Tech has reached out to, I think, 8th or 9th year player Alan Bowman. Remember Alan Bowman, the quarterback?
Oh yeah.
To potentially come in. I don't know if that's true or that's just one of those things you find on Twitter that you kind of roll your eyes about and laugh about. But I mean, if that's the case, I mean, there is really no option that's not already on campus. And I mean, I guess, I don't know if this is true. I mean, I guess it's potentially, I mean, if there's a high school kid out there who didn't get picked up and can sling the ball a little bit, maybe you bring, I don't really know what options they have at this point.
Yeah.
If there's any arms on the street that you can convince and get them in school. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what you do with Texas Tech, because right now for most programs, I mean, the hay's pretty much in the barn unless there's somebody left in the portal that hasn't landed somewhere.
Yeah, and you know they had the young kid Will Hammond who, you know, I think he's a curious one to watch. Perhaps I don't know. I know he got hurt, so I don't know how available he is. If that's something he'd be available at the beginning of the year, but you know, it's weird because this is a team. You know, they're not just a team with a quarterback. He's surrounded by a lot of talent. Tech brought in a lot of freshmen, and they brought in a lot from the portal. So this is not a this is a team that's set up for somebody to come in and win now. Like they just need a sustainable presence in the pocket, in the huddle, and they can still win the Big 12. But obviously Sorsby was the guy that was going to get them beyond just winning the Big 12. They did that last year. They wanted to advance in the playoff.
And before we leave this topic, I do want to, you know, put it out there that I think that it's a good sign that Sorsby is taking all this heat and realized he had a problem and he's going in to try to get some help. You don't see that a whole lot. So I think he deserves credit for that, knowing probably that, you know, or I hope someone advised him, okay, if you make this decision, this is what's going to happen. There's going to be a firestorm about all of this. And he said, you know, at all indications, it looks like he said, I don't care. I need help. And so that's a good sign for him personally that he has acknowledged this. But, and you mentioned it earlier, he's not the only one that has this problem. He's just the only one that is now in the limelight from it. It's going to continue to, I'm telling you, it's going to, these type of scandals are going to continue to pop up. It's just a matter of time because of the nature of what we're dealing with. So it'll be interesting to see how Tech goes from there.